My name is Alex Morgan, and the wedding's first dance was meant to be magical. Instead, I watched it scroll live to my sister-in-law Emily, the woman who had always been too close to my husband. She streamed the happiest moment of my life to an ex I never knew she still cared about. That's when I realized the betrayal ran deeper than anyone could imagine. Before we dive into the chaos, if you enjoy real family betrayal confessions and shocking revenge stories, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell. It's what keeps this channel alive and brings you more stories like this. I froze mid-step, the music swirling around me while a cold pit formed in my stomach. The laughter and clinking glasses faded into the background, replaced by the buzzing of notifications. Each ping was a hammer to my chest. Someone was watching this moment that was supposed to belong only to us. My husband looked at me, smiling, oblivious, and I forced a smile back, praying I was imagining it. The sister-in-law, whom I had always trusted, stood casually by the edge of the dance floor. Her phone was barely visible in her hand, angled just right. A fleeting glance revealed a tiny red live icon in the corner of her screen. I blinked, my heart skipping. She couldn't possibly be live streaming, could she? But there it was, proof, blinking right at me. I tried to remember the last few weeks, the small signs I had brushed off. Her lingering glances at my husband, her sly comments about old friends, and the way she had insisted on taking countless photos at our wedding rehearsal. At the time, I had laughed it off, thinking she was just being overzealous. Now it felt like premeditation, a script she had been following for weeks. The dance ended, but I couldn't leave the floor. My hands gripped his tightly, forcing my smile to stay fixed, even as my mind raced. The music faded into the next song, and my attention was pulled to the messages flooding my phone. One notification in particular froze me. Sent to ex's name. I didn't need to open it. I knew immediately who had seen my happiest moment. I excused myself to the edge of the hall, scanning the room. Guests laughed and danced, completely unaware of the storm brewing. My sister-in-law's casual demeanor was infuriating. She looked around, checking to see if anyone was noticing her mischief. The audacity stunned me. How could she betray someone she claimed to love like this? I retreated to the lobby, seeking a quiet corner to collect my thoughts. Every step felt heavy, like I was walking through molasses. I replayed every memory with her in my mind, searching for clues I had ignored. There had been little hints, her lingering phone calls, vague explanations about work meetings, and occasional sarcastic remarks about my perfect wedding. I had laughed them off. Now, they cut deep. Pulling out my phone, I tried to access the live stream. The app showed only the end screen, a recording saved in her account, time-stamped precisely at our first dance. My pulse quickened. This was evidence, undeniable and cruel. She had taken my joy, my sacred moment, and broadcast it to someone I had hoped was a closed chapter in our lives. I leaned against the wall, trying to process. My mind swung between rage and disbelief. How long had this been brewing? Did she still hold feelings for him? Was this revenge, jealousy, or some warped form of amusement? The questions swirled, each one heavier than the last. Suddenly, a small voice from the crowd reminded me of reality. Guests were beginning to notice my sudden pale expression. I smiled, masking panic, while thinking of my next step. I couldn't confront her here. Too many witnesses, too much chaos. I needed proof, a plan, and a way to reclaim control. I began mentally cataloging every piece of evidence I would need. Screenshots of the live stream, timestamps, witness accounts, any messages she might have sent regarding the broadcast. Every detail could be leverage. Every slip she made could fuel justice. My initial shock slowly transformed into a silent resolve. She had underestimated me, and I wasn't about to make the same mistake she did. When the wedding ended, the celebration continued, but I felt detached. Guests laughed and hugged, oblivious to the storm inside me. Emily's smirk during the first dance lingered in my mind, and I realized this wasn't just a one-off mistake. It was intentional. She had chosen to betray me in the most personal, public way possible. I excused myself from the remaining festivities and found a quiet spot near the back exit. Pulling out my phone, I opened her account and scrolled through the live stream. There it was. Every frame of my first dance, my husband's smile, the happiness I had imagined forever. It had been captured and sent to the very person who should never have witnessed it. My pulse quickened, but instead of panicking, I felt a cold clarity. I had proof, and proof meant power. The first step was understanding the scope. I documented everything: screenshots of the live stream timestamp, Emily's phone location at the time, and the reactions of the viewers. Each frame, each notification, each tiny detail was evidence that I could use. My plan wouldn't be impulsive. It had to be meticulous. I wouldn't shout or scream. I would let the situation speak for itself while I positioned myself for the perfect counter. I remembered the small warnings I had ignored in the weeks leading up to the wedding. Emily's casual comments about the perfect memories she had shared with my husband, the way she lingered near us during photos, and the private messages I had brushed off. They weren't innocent. Looking back, every tiny slip was a breadcrumb leading to this moment. Now I had everything in my hands. Over the next few days, I observed Emily carefully, acting normal around her, while secretly monitoring her interactions. She was proud of herself, boasting subtly to mutual friends about capturing the wedding in a unique way. Little did she know, every boast was a mark against her, another piece of the puzzle I was assembling. I reached out to the wedding planner and discreetly asked about the photography and videography rules. The planner confirmed that no live streams were allowed without consent. That gave me leverage. If she denied it, the planner could verify the rule. If she admitted it, the confession itself strengthened my position. While maintaining appearances at family gatherings, I also prepared my digital evidence. Screenshots of Emily's messages to the ex, the livestream timestamp, and comments from viewers all went into a secure folder. Each piece strengthened the narrative. I was calm, composed, and fully aware of her betrayal. The moment she thought she had me fooled, I had already turned the situation into ammunition. Finally, the day came when I confronted her, but not in front of the family. I invited her to a private room under the guise of discussing post-wedding photos. She arrived with a smug expression, expecting laughter and casual remarks. Instead, I remained seated, composed, with my phone already displaying the evidence. "Emily," I began, my voice steady. "I saw everything. The live stream, the ex, every moment." I paused, letting her reaction register. Her smirk faltered slightly, and I could see her calculating. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't shout. I simply let her see that I knew, that I had organized every detail, and that there would be consequences. She tried to explain, to downplay her actions as a mistake, but I cut her off. "You weren't recording a mistake. You broadcasted my life to someone who has no right to see it. This was deliberate." Her eyes widened slightly, realizing the gravity. Instead of reacting with anger, I outlined the consequences calmly. The live stream would be deleted, privacy violations would be addressed, and any further breach would result in family mediation and public accountability. I watched as her confidence crumble. She had assumed I would be humiliated, but instead, I controlled the narrative. The satisfaction wasn't in yelling or retaliation. It was in knowing I had regained control, in seeing that Emily had underestimated my patience and composure. My revenge wasn't public shaming. It was the silent, calculated reclaiming of dignity. Every word, every document, every proof point was a step in restoring what she had tried to destroy. I also subtly ensured my husband never learned the full extent of the betrayal. He saw a harmless photo mistake, while I kept the leverage in my hands. This was strategic. My goal wasn't revenge against him. It was against the sister-in-law's betrayal. The control, the calm, the quiet dominance, that was my ultimate victory. Later that evening, I reflected on the events. The first dance had been stolen, yes, But my response had taken something equally valuable from her: the illusion of power. She thought she had the upper hand. She believed she could manipulate and flaunt her betrayal. But I had quietly rewritten the outcome. The wedding remained a memory of love, not humiliation. The betrayal had been neutralized, and my dignity preserved. I spent the next few days organizing my evidence into a neat timeline. Screenshots, timestamps, witness statements. It all created an airtight narrative. Every time I reviewed it, I felt a sense of empowerment. The storm had passed, but the calm after it was controlled, deliberate, and mine. I sat in the quiet of my home, phone in hand, reflecting. Emily didn't know what was coming if she crossed boundaries again. My strategy was set. I didn't need to react impulsively. I didn't need to raise my voice. The power lay in patience, in planning, in proof. The betrayal had been exposed, and the outcome was mine to control. A small, satisfied smile crept across my face. Not vengeance and anger, but calculated justice. The first dance was hers to betray. The aftermath was mine to command. If you were in my shoes, would you confront the betrayal or let them crumble on their own? Comment below. I want to hear how you'd handle it.